there is a tribe in Africa that considers the birthday of a child not the day that it is born, and not even the day that it was conceived. They consider the birthday to be that very moment when that child became a thought in the mother's mind. Once that child becomes a thought in the mother's mind, the mother goes out and she sits under a tree, and she sits in that quiet space and listens. She sits there until she finally hears the song that will become the child's song. She takes that song, and then when she goes to couple with the Father, and in that intimate time where she is with the Father, she teaches the Father the song, and together they sing the song as they make love to welcome and invite that child in. Before the child is born and as the mother's belly is growing, she teaches the song to the midwives. And she teaches the song to the old women in the village, so that when the baby is born, finally it comes into the world, the women will be singing, and the child will hear the song outside for the first time. They teach the other villagers the song as the child grows older, so every time the child falls down or skins a knee or gets hurt, the other villagers are there to pick the child up and to sing the song. And the song is sung at every celebration and rites of passage, the rite into puberty. The song isn't sung very often after that. But if there is, for instance, a social act of misdeed or a moral act of misdeed, then that child who is now a grown person is invited to the center of the village, and the rest of the village surrounds that person and sings their song. In this African tribe, they don't believe that punishment changes behavior. They believe that only love changes behavior. And when the reminder of the true identity of that child is reawakened, then any moral or social misdeed can be forgiven. There are other times that the song is sung when the person gets married with their mate. They sing their songs to each other. And then at the end, when that person is lying down and getting ready to make their transition, the village gathers around and sings the song for the very last time. Now, we are not an African village. We are not an African tribe. And I venture to say in our world today that there are very few small insular communities left because we have expanded geographically. Our burgeoning population has required us to take up more land. And we have expanded informationally. I know informationally is not a real word, but informationally kind of covers the mental and visual impact that happens when something occurs on one point of the planet and all of a sudden is known all the way around the globe. It used to take news days or months to travel, but now something can happen somewhere and it feels like instantly the rest of the globe knows about it. It feels like it goes viral in just minutes instead of months. And certainly in the last 6 weeks, we have been bombarded with mental and visual images of tragedy. Separate instances of gay people dying and black people dying, from singular to hundreds of deaths have occurred in France and in Turkey, in all parts of our globe. And the news of this, as it reaches us, comes at us again and again and again. And what are we to do? I mean, what does this mean? Have we forgotten our song? Well, I'd like to think not. Because here we are in this Unity community. Here we are in spiritual community where we come to be reminded of love, where we come to be reminded of peace. In this Unity community, we know that each of us has a song that comes from the harmony of the Christ light, from our divinity, a song that is made up of different notes of faith and understanding and wisdom, a song that resonates with the symphony of God as love and as peace and as power. Here in this Unity community, we come because we remember that we are beloved expressions of God. We remember that we do have a song, and it comes from the very essence of who we are. We come into this Unity community because we remember our holy purpose. I was reminded this week that we each have a noble function. A noble function. We come to this Unity community so we can remember all of this, because right after we're here, then Monday happens. Right? Monday happens, and a friend betrays us, or another friend steals from us just to feed their habit, or a government lies, or another black life is lost, or a truck crashes. And the human part of ourselves, that human part that has forgotten the song, wants those transgressors to be punished. That we want them to apologize. We want them to make things right. But consider this. What if that perpetrator couldn't make another choice? They just weren't capable of making another choice. What if? What if? If we continue with the idea that they could have chosen something else, we're going to make ourselves crazy. We're actually not even going to be attached to reality at all. Because if we continue with the idea that they could have chosen something else, then we're living in a fantasy world. They couldn't have chosen anything else. So what is ours to do? What is ours to do? Ours is to be the impassioned witness. Ours is the one to put unity principles to work. Our job is to be conscious participants in figuring out next steps. Our job is to be the change we want to see in the world, and we know this. We know this with our mind, but are we practicing it? You know, the longest journey is from the head to the heart. It's that 18 inches that can seem like a really, really long way. So the question is, are we practicing what we know? Jesus, we consider a way shower. We consider him the master teacher. Jesus said, love as I have loved you. Jesus loved the unlovable. Jesus loved his enemies. So when we love as Jesus has loved us, aren't we answering the cry of the love that's in the transgressor's heart? Aren't we answering the call of love that is in the victim's heart? And aren't we answering the call of all humanity? We are the generators of love and wisdom in our world. We are, I am, you are the generators of peace in our world. So it's up to us. It is up to us. There's an amazing modern day guru named Raphael Kirchner, and he wrote a book which gives us some really wonderful how-tos to get started. Setting your heart on fire, 7 invitations to liberate your life. And his first step is feel everything. Feel everything. He says that we tend to want to push certain feelings down. We want to sweep certain feelings aside. And in my phraseology and in my language, we want to jump over our feelings. But if we jump over big sadness, then we're really not getting through to anything. If we jump over big anger, we're not really getting through to anything. So the invitation is to feel everything. Feeling everything opens us up to a deeper experience of life. Feeling everything opens us up to something greater. We have no idea what feeling can open us up to. If we think about the Buddha, he was feeling disgusted. He was feeling discontent when he saw the contrast between the opulence of his culture and the abject poverty. And look what journey that started him on. A discovery of enlightenment that we're still living today. Jesus had a full range of feelings. He loved, he was angry, and he cried. The New Testament, the shortest verse is, he wept. He wept. So my invitation is to dance with your feelings, to play with them. One of my favorite ways of playing with my own anger is collecting all my glass bottles and going to the Wrightsville recycling station. They have a big bin. I kid you not, there is nothing much, well, there might be one thing, but 2 things, or 4, more satisfying than taking those glass bottles and throwing them in explosively to match my anger. I'm not kidding you. Emotions are a divine appointment. They are a divine appointment that opens us up to a deeper, wonderful, greater experience of life. Invitation number 2 is to question everything. One of the great things about being in Unity and New Thought is we're invited to question everything, to consider the thoughts, attitudes, and beliefs that we're holding that are contributing to the maelstrom that's going on around our globe. Question every thought, every attitude, every belief. Question them, and as we begin to question them, we may discover that it's time to unravel. We may discover that it's time to let go. When I say question everything, I mean question your religion too. And you should question, not should, but you could, question your minister. There are not many ministers who are willing to do that. Now, I may have a few feelings and throw a few glass bottles. But what a wonderful dialogue. I might ask for time for discernment, but what a wonderful dialogue of discovery that we can have. The more we question ourselves, the more we question each other, the greater experience of love, joy, and peace we are open to discover. Are you with me? Yeah. Number 3, resist nothing. In Unity, we say what you resist persists. If you didn't know it before, you can know it now. What you resist persists. So I want to invite you to let go of, to stop complaining, to stop denying, to stop defending, to stop shaming, to stop blaming, because those resistors, and we're very sophisticated resistors in this community, those resistors are what's keeping us from feeding our generative love center. They're what's keeping us from feeding our wisdom that goes with our love. They're little toxins, toxin bubbles of energy that are bubbling up. And if we want to hold on to them, if we want to resist them, if we want to retain them, then we're feeding them and they're getting bigger. There's a magnificent story, and many of you might know it, there we go. It's about the Cherokee grandfather and talking to the young boy. And he says there's two wolves that live inside of us. And they are battling. They are battling. When we resist, that's all we can do is battle. And the little boy says, well, what are they? And the grandfather explains that one of the wolves is evil. It's resentment. It's jealousy. It's fear. It's darkness. It's things that we're afraid of are going to keep us small. The other wolf is goodness. It's light. It's love. It's freedom. It's expression. It's changing our minds. It's shifting all the time. And the little boy says, which one wins? And the grandfather replies, the one you feed. The one you feed. Feel everything. Question everything. Resist nothing. As we journey back to remembering our song that is uniquely ours, our song that's composed of the notes of faith and understanding and strength and wisdom, a song that's in harmony with the divine, as we are in the process of remembering our song, the very best way to begin is with commitment. And as we begin with commitment, we cement that commitment with affirmation. The first affirmation, would you say them with me, please? I will not let my own feelings about the darkness dampen my holy purpose. My emotions are a divine appointment. And the next one is, I question everything. I question my beliefs. I question the beliefs held by collective consciousness. I am a conduit for wholeness. And the last one is, I resist nothing. I accept the invitation to stop complaining, denying, defending, blaming, shaming. The energy I choose to feel is love. The energy we choose to feel as Unity of Wilmington is love. So let's go on a collective journey in meditation back to love, back to the light.